So there are literally 1,000 ways you can organise your kitchen in your Teardrop, or maybe 1,001.
1014.
1014, lots of different ways. It's funny you mentioned 14, because what we've got today is 14 different ways, or not 14 different ways, 14 things that we've done to organise our kitchen, which may give you some ideas to organise yours, or you may have something better, in which case let us know in the comments, because we'll probably copy that instead. All right, let's get into it. So number one is this drawer that most Chicanas have, I think.
Yep.
Going back a long time, there's been this drawer in the kitchen.
I'm going to call it the TARDIS because it's amazing how much can actually fit in there. So I've sort of manufactured a little bit of a spacing thing here, upgraded to glass because I got sick to death of plastics. Got to have your coffee, keep it warm in winter. Then this is where I hide all my everythings.
This is on IKEA plastic tub, this one, isn't it?
IKEA plastic tub.
Yep.
And
it's basically the cutlery drawer.
It fits perfectly as long as there's something underneath it.
Yep.
So of course when I'm doing my garlic breads and so on and so forth, and you can never be without zip ties, bin bags, the funnel, so that Jason can get his...
fill up the standard squeeze.
The standard squeeze. And then in the back here, I've got all the plates. That sits in snugly. And that is the TARDIS. So number 2 on the list is the cupboards.
This is interesting.
So we've got 2 bags, which keeps everything contained. Let's unpack what we've got here.
Okay, this is going to be the scary bit.
No, it's not scary. It's getting it back in there that's scary.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So one just has my very, very prized Bessemer pot.
That's Yolynda's prized possession.
Yes.
Don't mess with the Bessemer pot.
Don't mess with Bessemer pot.
It's amazing how much you can do with it, though.
And I'm a one-pot wonder when it comes to cooking.
A one-pot screamer?
Not quite. Not quite. This one is the interesting one, though.
This has got a lot of fun stuff in it.
This is quite compacted in here. Let us unpack. So Jason needs his coffee machine.
This little 12-volt Wanderer, whoops, coffee machine thingy here, got from BCF. Best thing ever.
Then we've got just a billy.
Yep.
Boring billy.
Yep.
And then we duplicated the billy.
So we've got 2 billies.
We've got 2 billies.
Well, we bought the first one and just found out like it was how practical and useful it was.
And then we
seriously
found one with the spout.
Yep.
And you can hang it up on the fire and you can pick it up when it's hot.
And it's conveniently sized to fit like it's not a jet boil, it's the Bunnings equivalent jet boil, but yeah, fits a spare.
And of course that saves a little bit of space on top of it as well, because it doesn't go all the way in.
So it could be a jet boil, but you know, we've just got the cheaper Bunnings version. And I see Aldi had them the other day as well.
Yes. Yes.
So these things are popping up everywhere, but a jet boil, quote unquote jet boil, or something similar, very useful.
Lids for those guys.
Yep.
Nothing exciting there. This guy here is the newest acquisition.
Oh yes, this is the newest toy.
So it is, and it's...
Where did this come from? This was from IKEA, wasn't it?
This is from IKEA. And what tends to happen when you're cooking with gas and on barbecues and fires, one thing cooks before the rest and then it goes cold, which I hate. So these guys here are little
insulated thermal bowl. It's a thermos bowl or something?
Thermos bowls, yeah.
So they'll keep hot stuff hot or cold stuff cold, or? The
2 different sizes there, and then it just packs up nice and compactly and goes back into the bag. And this has been, like, we bought it for...
Well, this is the first trip we've used it, isn't it?
Yeah, we bought it before this trip, and I think I've used it 3 times already. And
already?
Only been away for
4 nights. Fair enough.
So that's the bag.
All right, now the trick is to get it all back together.
Oh, easy. Easy peasy.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. one goes in there. Move you over.
Now we picked up these bags at just one of the exhibitors at a caravan camping show somewhere.
They are the wherever.
Yeah, anyway, we bought something from them that happened to come in one of those bags, and it was so useful. The last time we saw them, we were just like, he was like, "Can I just buy one of these bags off you?" And they were happy to just sell us the bag without anything in it. And they're just very handy for keeping everything together and not rattling around too much. Is that going to go together? That's a bit tight.
Have you met
I shouldn't have really doubted you, should I?
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
And back she goes. Oh, no.
Oop.
And everything has an order. That one
Got to
goes
get back in the
first
right
'cause
order.
it's more important.
We have got some other stuff under there, some mozzie repellent coil thingies and whatnot, but
Yeah,
that's the boring container, that
that's
one.
the boring stuff, and that's Jason's knickknacks, but we won't talk about that.
Okay.
And back she goes. Now, while we're in this cupboard, another little something that I've got,
Oh, hang on a sec. I need to scooch around.
which is part of the setup, but not named specifically as one of our additions. These little silicone mats from IKEA, picking up hot anythings, using it as a placemat, any of those sorts of things. Wonderfully compact, stay together right there.
Because they're a handy, what's the thing you put on a table if you've got to
Trivet.
put a hot pot on? A trivet?
Trivet.
That's the word.
Yep.
Sounds like a frog. Trivet, trivet.
So that's the cupboard.
Number 3 on our list is there's an area just to the other side of the fridge over here.
A wasted space.
Well,
actually.
it's kind of, yeah, like I think when we bought it, like it's the roof, the awning for the kitchen goes in there and a few other bits and pieces. But anyway, we found that a magazine rack helps to just keep that organised. Let's have a closer look at that.
So all I've done here is just chuck the magazine rack in. I've got the...
So you can see the magazine rack there.
Yep.
It just stops everything from sliding away too much.
And then in this front corner that I didn't actually know what to do with, we've just got all of the daily essentials for living in the bush.
Airguard and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that keeps all the cutting boards, and we've got the the sort of the windshield thingy there if it's a windy day to put around the cooker.
Just keeps it all contained, doesn't slide around, and I know exactly where it is. Number 4, very, very simple little idea, but forever losing the paper towel, forever putting it down somewhere and losing it. So I decided, tired of that, found this little guy, not even sure where we got it, fits perfectly in that spot.
I don't know either. The trick is you just need to remember to take it off, because it just hooks up there. Just take it off when you close the lid, for obvious reasons, but while the lid's open, how good is that?
Makes life easy.
Number 5 is a little bit of an odd one. What we found is that a lot of the times the boxes of aluminium foil and your baking paper and those sorts of things, if they get left in front of the fridge, or they tend to get left around, a little bit of rain overnight and they're soggy and falling apart, and we were just always battling with that, weren't we?
Yeah, I don't like self-destructing stuff while I'm trying to do something else.
Yep.
So I think it was Timu came to the rescue on this one.
Might have been, yes.
And what we have got is these little guys that fit snugly in that space. They've got some little suction cups, and I don't actually have to do much to get what I need.
Got a little sort of cutting blade thing built into them as well.
Life is easy.
So yeah, you just pull it out of the cardboard box and whack it in those plastic containers. Happy days.
So number 6 on our... Yeah.
Just, okay, so don't gesture, just number 6. Boy, oh boy.
So number 6, cooking of an evening. That light is fantastic. Even though you can dim it and so on, the fact that it's a white light still attracts the bugs.
Now, just on that dimming thing, I don't know how long we must have had Tia for a year or more before somebody in the Facebook page mentioned this. So you can turn it on, that's fine.
Oh, great.
Everyone knows how to do that, near seeing spots. But if you push and hold it, you can dim it. Did you know that? We'd had the thing for over a year before somebody mentioned that. It's like, but it is still a white light and still a bug attractor. So let me show you what I've got. Is this light up here that I got from IKEA. So you turn it on, and it's white to start off with, but it'll cycle through some colours, and it gets to orange, which is the third stage, and you push it again and it stays there. And so what we've got now is an orange light that isn't too bright, so you can see what you need to do at night time, but it's not attracting any bugs. And I guess that leads me into the next point as well. What number would that be? 7?
7.
7. 7 is this little USB plug here. So when we bought Tia, there was a 12-volt cigarette lighter plug up there.
Which was fundamentally useless.
Well, it wasn't being, yeah, it must be part of, because the fridge actually plugs in down that side, so it was just an empty cigarette lighter plug right up the back there. So I pulled the wires from that and fed them into the back of this. So that's just a little standard 2-port USB charging plug, which powers that light, but also you've got this spare to charge something else if you need to.
So number 8 on our list is one of the little irks that I had. Every time we used the gas and connected it to everything, the cupboard had to stay open.
It is, yeah. So it's law the way the gas pipes need to be. And for a couple of years now that it can't be permanently plugged in. So you've got to open the cupboard and feed it out and plug it into here when you want to use it, which means that you can't have the tailgate closed and potentially a gas leak or anything like that. And that's fine, but it did mean that the cupboard was always open.
Grr.
Grr. So now this is not the best handiwork in the world, but it does the job. So we've basically cut a groove out of there, which means that we can close the cupboard door, still have the gas pipe there, and it just tidies that up a little bit. Now that leads to, what's our next number? We have got a list here, hang on a sec. That leads to number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Now, depending on where you're camping, oh, I can't get this thing out now. Depending on where you're camping, and it's happened for us the last couple of nights, is that, and they're predicting it tonight as well, could have some storms tonight, but a bit of ventilation, you know, sometimes you don't want to close it up completely. We just want to lower the tailgate without sealing it off completely.
But at the same time, not having to unplug that because we're lazy.
In wintertime, when you're out here first thing in the morning to make a coffee, that can be a bit cold faffing around with that. And you know, my office fingers, I don't exactly have bricklayer's fingers. So to save unplugging that, we found this block from RTM, and it's apart from a boat trailer or something like that. But that fits over there. Yeah, I should be right. I'll just take that off for a minute. And what happens is that comes down and sits on there. That's got plenty of motion there. That's not really resting on that at all. But it keeps the weather out, but still allows a little bit of ventilation through to the main sleeping cabin if you've got that window open. But it also means that in the morning, you just got to come out and lift that guy up. And this is plugged in and ready to go. I'm going to put all this back together again now, don't we?
There we go. Easy.
This would have to be the clumsiest one we've ever done. Don't you reckon? We even wrote it down in advance, we still have no idea what order we're up to.
That's okay.
It's number 10. It's number 10. All right.
We're up to number 10. Number 10 is the drain pipe. Now, it's a bit clumsy to get under there. It originally came with a little U-bolt. Trying to get, I mean, it sounds almost naughty, but trying to get the hose in that little space was no fun. So we fixed that.
We did.
We got a little Velcro strap.
Whoop, there it is.
That
actually, the U-bolt's still there. I thought we'd have taken her off, but we didn't.
Oh,
It's still there.
Okay. Well, we put the Velcro on, so instead of trying to thread needles and stuff, we can just zap it up.
Yeah, basically, so you just put the drain pipe in that and close the Velcro on it. That just came from Bunnings, that one. Close the Velcro on it, and that holds it in quite well. And it's much easier than trying to feed it through that gap. You can just undo the Velcro and drop it down into, which leads to number 11, which is, and that is just decidedly gross at the moment. Maybe we should have used a clean one.
We've got the new one at home.
But the 20-litre portable water containers that you get from a lot of camping shops, you know, the collapsible 20-litre water containers, actually make a really good collection container. So, you know, you wait till that's about half full or 3/4 full or whatever, and you can grab that and go and dump it in the bush somewhere, depending on where you're camping, or at a dump spot, or, you know, depending on where you are. But that's a really handy way of collecting everything. And because they collapse, well, I won't do it now, but I mean, they basically fold flat and sit up there when it's time to go. So number 11 is a bit of a running gag for us. Now, where we're pulled up here, there's a downhill slope. So to get this level so we can sleep in it, it means the nose is down, but the kitchen area is raised. You can see it's a bit high where we are. And for those of us who are vertically challenged,
I have my stool and I can do whatever I want.
So that gets you up to the right height now?
Yes. I can even reach stuff. It's great.
So yeah, a little collapsible stool there goes a long way when you sort of have to pull up somewhere like this.
However, that, when it's collapsed, fits in just beside the cupboard inside, between the bed and the cupboard. There's a little spot that is the perfect size for it.
Yep, yeah, there is, yeah.
Number 12 is designed specifically for those of us who have a culinary side and we need our herbs and spices. I'm finding running to the pantry, which is in the back of the ute, was just no. So I created my own space.
Yep.
And that space, I'm going to bring my stool
drag the stool over so you can get to it.
Just consists of my little spaces here with whatever it is that I need for my trip. Tucks away nicely there, and voila, life is great. And I can reach it.
And you can reach it. I don't know if we've showed off this yet. How cool is this little knitted toucan thing?
Toucan thing. It is a toucan.
Well, but it's a toucan. It's not a plushie. It's
crocheted.
Well, it's not. Well, maybe it is a plushie. Anyway, Renee, our daughter's friend's mum, made that for us, and that's really embarrassing. I can't remember her name, but
thank you.
Yep, he goes with us everywhere. Just like there's 1,000 different ways to set up your kitchen, it seems there's also 1,000 different ways to set up your rubbish bin as well when you're camping, and everyone's selling some sort of a camping rubbish bin. Our last trip to Daiso, though, we found something really, it's probably not in frame there. Anyway, we'll go over this way and I'll use the phone to show it off a bit more. These little clips. Now, you know, being a Daiso thing, they were cheap and you think, oh, that could be a bit rubbish. But the spring actually, like, I don't know if you can see that, the steel in the spring is actually pretty heavy duty stuff. They're quite strong. Like, they are not going anywhere. Pretty solid, and they're perfect for just, you know, hanging some rubbish bags off, or your dish drying mat here. Yep. So, you know, of an evening, like, you're not going to leave those out at night time, obviously. An evening you need to put them away so that critters don't get into them. But during the day, while you're around camp and, you know, while things have been, you know, while you're cooking or whatever you're doing, these little clips are really good and strong.
And on a side note, this guy, we actually did have a collapsible dish draining rack, but it just became a nightmare. There was nowhere for it to live. So I went to Kmart, grabbed one of these, and while it's drying, it's there, and while it's not, it also has a sneaky little home.
It does have a sneaky home under there.
There we go. All packed away.
And I think we finally made it to number 14. It's been a long time to get the camera stopped recording a couple of times midway through.
I've said the wrong thing. He said the wrong thing.
We've forgotten what order things are. We haven't been following our notes. We have been following our notes.
We found out something about the camera.
Yes, yeah.
If you use too many gestures, it turns off.
There's certain gestures the camera uses. You can act. I'm not going to do anything now because we were counting. You know, we were gesturing when we were counting, and it turns out that one of the gestures, or a couple of them, actually stopped the recording.
Okay, here's the challenge for our audience. Figure out what number turns the camera off.
Yeah, because we stopped gesturing when we figured that out. Anyway, what number are we up to now? 14. We're up to 14. We're up to the last one. Now, this table here, this fold-out table, has been, well, it goes everywhere with us. But when it comes time to pack it up, you came up with a bit of a...
Yeah, well, again, it's my chef's table. I need it when I'm cooking, and when he makes coffee, he needs it. So we figured, instead of putting that in the back of the ute, I figured out that once you fold it up, it actually can live quite comfortably here. So again, just a little bit of protection to make sure that you are maintaining your equipment. I put a little bit of that down, close that down, put this guy in place, and that table folds in half and sits right here. Voila.
Yeah, perfect size. And so by the time this table is then on top of that, we've got our empty water collection container thing there. We can
chuck it on top.
We can chuck on top. If we've got some rubbish bags and we need to go and find the tip, they can live on top till we get there.
And it's nice and easy to clean. So it seems to work quite well.
It does seem to work quite well. All right, so that's our 14 hacks for how we've got the kitchen organised and some things we've learned over a period of time. Maybe now, instead of 1,014 ways to organise your kitchen, there's 1,015. Actually, would it be 1,015 or would it be 1,014 plus 14, which would make... That kangaroo just hopped out over there. Missed him again. This giant kangaroo jumped right through a camper. He was this tall. Stood there and looked at me for a bit, and I didn't have a camera with me.
Photos, or it didn't happen.
No, yeah, okay. Anyway, so we went from 1,014 to 1,028 ways to organise your kitchen.
You can't count.
No, I don't know. It's been a long afternoon. We'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.